Hi Best Buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. Today is hashtag tagmetuesday, but first let's have our shout out to Stacy, Linda, Lulu, Teresa, Jenny, Blossom, and Inspire, Tammy, and Kelly. I appreciate each and every one of you. So in the comments section, I had some comments saying that y'all had lots and lots of envelopes. So I switched up this project that I saw that I have been inspired by, Bird's Nest Books by Lee Ann, and this is my take on it. So because we have lots of envelopes, let's use what we have. So start with an envelope. Now these happen to be 6.5 by 3.5, but you can use whatever size that you want. And cut yourself some cardstock. It can be scrap cardstock, and you want to trim it so it will fit inside of your envelope and close easily. So I am going to glue these inside my envelope, and as I do that, I'm going to tell you what hashtag tagmetuesday is all about. It's a Facebook group, and the link is down below if you would like to join. I invite you all to join in with us over there. And over there, what you will see is I will post my Tag Me Tuesday project, and I invite you all to show me your version. So since we've been doing it for quite a while, there is it's called a playlist on YouTube. And this playlist, you can go and you can see all the Tag Me Tuesday videos, and you can select whichever one you'd like, and you can post your version of it. Now, I do ask you that we don't just post willy-nilly what we're doing, that you show us your version of one of the hashtag Tag Me Tuesday projects that we have. And it's so much fun. You get to see what others do with the same project, because our personalities come out in our projects. And it's fun to see what other people, how they create the exact same project and how it turns out differently. Also, to be able to join, you will need to accept the rules. There are 2 questions, and really the first question you don't have to answer. The answer is hashtag Cathy Sewing Happiness, but the second one is extremely important, and unless you accept the rules of the group, I won't be able to accept you into the group. And what are the rules? The rules are very simple. To be kind to everyone, and there is no selling. That does not mean that you can't sell your stuff. It just means you can't sell it on that site. So I invite you all to join in the group. It's great fun, and I post pictures of that project that we've been working on. So this project, now I think I have messed up and I maybe missed 1 or 2, or was late posting it, but I will show you close-up pictures of what we made in this video. Now we have our cardstock in our envelopes, and what I want to do is I'm going to put them together. And I am going to get my scissors, and I'm just going to trim off the corner. Just like that. Just very simply trim off the corner. I'm going to take my piece, I'm going to invert it, and I'm going to place it on the other corner, making sure my envelopes are as close together as I can get them. And we're going to trim the other one. Now that doesn't mean everything's perfect, it just means that it's close enough that it's going to look perfect. Alright, so there we are here. Now the next step is that grab yourself some material. I have grabbed this one, and what I want to do is I'm going to open it up, and I think I'll just trim this off so it's easier to manage. So I'm going to get my scissors, and I'm just going to trim this right here just so I can manage this. I'm going to set this over to the side. Alright, so here's our fabric. I just thought that was really pretty. And I'm going to turn it over so we have the back of the fabric facing up, and we bring in our little tags that we have made from our envelopes, and we're going to go ahead. Oh, I hope I've given myself enough room. Oh my goodness, you talk about cutting it short, you guys. I messed up. Okay, well, we'll use that for something else. Here we go. There we go. We're just going to do it this way since I messed up. All right, because I have to have enough space. I'm going to see about this side because I didn't like that crease, and I don't want to have to bring the iron in just yet. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to trim it. I should have done that in the very beginning, but that's okay. It's all good. I'm just going to trim this little square, rectangle, or whatever shape this is. I'm going to trim it out just so it's more manageable. All right, now we were, just a few minutes ago, we're in the same spot. Now what I want to do is I am going to bring in my brush and just have it in some water because, like I said, I have made 2 of these, and so I wanted to keep my brush wet. I have my watered down school glue. You can use the glue of your choice. I am going to turn it over just because this is where the crease was in the envelope, and you don't have to do it on this side. I just am. So I'm just going to open up my glue, and I guess I should say, if this was empty, I would have this much water and this much glue. This much glue and this much water. So let's go ahead and spread out our glue. Got some on there. And I'm just painting it onto my envelope, just like that. And I do want to get my edges. Now, I've got it all spread out. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to place it down onto my fabric. And I'm going to press it down. Alrighty, so now we're gluing our fabric onto our tag. The next, I want to make sure I leave about a ½ an inch from this edge of this tag to this edge of this tag. I'm going to leave about a ½ an inch, about right there. And I'm going to bring in my ruler just to keep me as level, or I guess the word is level, so that I can pair them up as, you know, I don't want them to be wonky. I don't want this one to be up here or over, or I want the base to be the same. So the point's the same and the top's the same. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, and I'm going to apply my glue. Once again, glue of your choice. And I'm just using my brush to help me spread it out so I don't have any globs and my fabric gets stuck down and it's not, you know, doesn't have a big glob of glue underneath. So get that all spread out, and then I'm going to place it about a ½ an inch. I'm just eyeballing it, something like that. Seeing how we're doing here, pretty good. I'm going to press it down now. So all pressed down. And what you want to do next is you'll want to get yourself your scissors, and we're going to not cut the center. We are not cutting this center. We're going to go ahead and we're going to trim out around our tags. Just that simply trimming. Alrighty. And I'm going to trim right across the top till I get to the other side. Okay, I'm going to have to probably clean it up in just a minute, but first I'm just going to get most of it trimmed out, and then let's trim this portion. Oh, trimmed into that pocket a little bit. That was bad of me. Try not to do that, guys. Try not to trim into your pocket. Okay, Now right here, I'm just going to trim it down like this, and I'm going to trim it down like this, and then I'm just going to actually grab my smaller scissors and I'm just going to trim it off. Okay, like that. And when we close it, it's going to look like that. I don't know why. Okay, all right, there we are. I'm going to just trim just a little bit here. Now I'm just trimming up. If I didn't do a very good job, I'm just looking at it to see if I need to clean it up anywhere. All right, now we're going to need to let this dry. So this right here, see, so it will fold like this so we can make it into a little journal. But it's going to need to dry. It's a little wet. So I happen to have one that's completely dry here. And I will mention that I set mine outside. It's a very warm day outside. And do you see that it's kind of curled up on me? There, it's curled. So what I want to do here is I'm going to bring in my iron and I'm going to iron it. So hang on, and I'm going to grab my iron real quick. All right, so I have my little craft iron here, and I'm just going to iron my tags just so I can get rid of the curl in them. And sometimes when we dry things that we've totally covered in glue, they kind of, I guess the word is warp just a little bit. So I'm just ironing it so that this is going to be much better now. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to shut my iron off, and I'll be right back. Alright, so for the inside, I'm going to use coffee dyed paper because I just think that that looks beautiful colored together. In one of my examples, I did use a printable. So you could use printed paper from a paper pad, or you could use a digital. Whatever it is, it will be beautiful. So all I'm doing is I'm placing my glue down once more, and I'm bringing in my brush, and I'm just going to brush my tag with the glue, and I'm actually going to glue, oh goodness gracious, open this up, Cathy. We're going to glue right here where the material is. So I want my inside papers to stick onto the cloth that's in the middle of my two tags. And I got a little bit carried away with this right here. Yes, I did, a little carried away. So I'm just moving some of the glue over to the other side. Okay, now I'm just going to place this down just like that and press it really well, just so it really gets stuck on here, on the middle, and the between the two tags. Press on that. You can start seeing the tags through there, can't you? Sure can. Alrighty, so now what I want to do is it's going to look like this. Once again, you're going to get your scissors, and we're just going to trim around the edge. Very simple. Trimming around the edge. Okay. All right. Let's trim the center out just like this. Alrighty. Now, you know how when you've just glued something and it's wet and you try to fold it, it gets wonky on you. Well, I don't want that to happen. So I am going to take this and I'm going to use the hot glue gun. No, I'm going to use the heat gun on it, and I'm going to get this to be dried, and then we'll continue. All right, so I've got it all nice and dried. Now at this point, I am going to take mine over to my machine and sew all the way around. If you don't have a machine or you choose not to do that step, I would suggest you take your, where's my little wipe here, your brush, and I suggest you place a little bit of glue along the edge, and you take your brush and you brush it on the edge. That will help this material to stop or not to begin to ravel, because you want to use this project and taking it in and out of a pocket, opening it up, going through it, writing in it, because we are going to put a small signature in here. You just don't want your edges to become frayed. So that is how I do it, is I add a little glue onto my brush or place it right directly on, and just make sure you get the edge nicely sealed. Even though I sew around, I might actually do that step as well. But I will be right back after I stitch this. So I'll be right back. All right, so now you can see that I have sewn around mine, and we'll want to fold it now. So you're going to have to manipulate your center here where your fabric is between the two tags. There we are. So there's your little cover that you have for your tag journal. So what I want to do now is I'm going to bring in some Sari silk, and this is from my friend at Crimson Heart Studios, and I think this peach is just beautiful. I'm going to unroll it here, and I would like to add a pocket right here out of this beautiful Sari silk, and I'm just going to place it on this side of my stitching. I do have my hot glue, and I'm going to just place a little bit of hot glue down, and I'm going to go ahead and add my Sari silk. Now I'm using hot glue because it's quick, it's easy for a video, but you use the glue of your choice. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue the bottom down. Now I have not ironed this Sari silk. It came this way, and even though it's flat, it still has a little character by having some of the edges rolled over and has some wrinkles, and I'm going to leave that. I did not iron this. It came this way. So over in her Etsy shop, you can order it this way. So right here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to place some glue right on the spine. So adding some glue onto the spine, and then pulling my Sari silk tightly, just go right around to the other side of our tag. So I'm actually putting a pocket on the back as well. So right here I'm going to add my glue to the bottom, and then just lay my Sari silk down. Okay, so we've got our pocket on the top already, and so let's go ahead and place our glue right here so we can make this a pocket as well. And if you pull it firmly, then it won't gap. Your pocket won't gap. Now it is folded down a little bit here, but I kind of like that. I'm looking for my small scissors, and I'm just going to trim it right here. So now we have our pocket right here, and we have a pocket right here. So what I want to do next is I'm actually going to put a pocket inside too. So it's going to have 4 pockets. So taking the same Sari silk, now you could use a piece of lace, you could use another strip of your fabric in which you use to cover your envelope tags. You could do that. Whatever it is, you choose something that you would be able to make your pockets with. All right, so someone's going to ask me how wide this Sari silk is. This Sari silk is about 1.5 inches wide. I'm just going to add my glue right down at the bottom. I'm going to pull this. I'm not pulling real hard, but I'm just pulling so it, you know, it will not have a gap. It won't sag. That's the word I'm looking for. It won't sag. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and let's just trim this now. And so see, it doesn't even sag inside because you've glued it right here. Okay, so isn't that absolutely beautiful? Let's go ahead and let's put our little top part on. So I'm going to use the exact same Sari silk, and I'm just going to gather it right here and make a little loop, and I'll give it a twist, and that's going to be my top. So I'm just going to trim it off. I'm going to bring in a little bit of embroidery thread, and this green is absolutely a perfect match to the green in the fabric. I'm going to make a loop with it. See the loop right here? I can maybe on my shirt you can see the loop. I'm going to place that right there. I'm going to trim this. Alright, so I've got that trimmed off. I'm going to take my ends, I'm going to wrap it around, and I'll put the ends through my loop. Get my ends through the loop, and then I'm just going to pull it. So it's all gathered. I'm just going to straighten it out a little bit. It's an awful big loop. I think I'm going to shorten my loop a little bit because I think it's kind of tall. That's too short now. There, that's not too bad. I'm going to take my two ends because it's just a loop. It's not going to. That's not going to hold. I put one on one side and one on the other of my sari, and then I'm going to tie a knot, or just start like you're going to tie a bow. I don't have to knot it. It's going to be fine because I'm going to glue it. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a bow. So taking my ends, here we are, just pulling it. There we go. Now we've got a pretty little bow on here. So that's going to be gorgeous on top. Oh my goodness, I love it. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue it. So I'm just going to add, I think I'll add it right here. Just a little bit of glue. You use the glue of your choice. I'll just straighten it out a little bit. Now I don't want my embroidery thread to come apart, so I want to put a knot on it. But I do want to have some, I want it to stream down. I don't want it to be a short, I want my bow to have streamers. That's the word I'm trying to say. So when we cut off the end below where the knot is, knotted it so it's not going to come unfrayed, because you know it will. It's already starting to. I'm just going to make a knot and trim that off. I'm going to take these and I'm just going to kind of bunch them up a little bit, and I'm just going to add some glue, and I'm just going to stick my ends down. I don't want my ends to be flopping around. I really want them to be stationary. So I'm just gluing them down. Just like that. Now I don't want my bow to come undone, and it will come undone. It won't be long and it will be undone. I'm going to take my watered down school glue that I have in this little container, And I'm just going to place a little bit of glue right on the center of the bow, and that will keep it from coming undone, and it will keep it in place. So now we look just like that. So let's go ahead and put our signature in. Let's open up our little journal here. We're just going to need one piece of our coffee dyed paper, or maybe you want to use book page. Whatever it is that you'd like to use, that will be fine. I'm actually going to fold it the long ways. If you want to change up your paper and use some book page and some coffee dyed paper, maybe a digital, you can do that. Now I've just chosen to use plain coffee dyed paper in all of them, even my 2 examples. And I'm going to measure it from my stitching, so that's going to be like 1/4 of an inch up to just a little further down from the point that is between the 2 tags here. So I'm going to bring in my paper, and I folded it, so this is the fold, and I'm just going to mark it right here. I need to cut it right there, and then of course I don't want it to hang out past my tag, so I'm going to shorten it. I want it to be right there, so I'm going to trim it right here and right there. So I'm going to bring in my guillotine, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to just chop it. I'm going to chop it all the way across this way so that everything will be the right length. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to use this as a template. I'm going to mark it, and then I'm going to cut that as well. Alrighty, so there are my papers to my signature. So I've got 2 that are going to be one side, and then I'm going to have 2 that are going to be shorter. So make sure that it's folded on this end. I'm going to bring in my corner rounder, and I'm just going to round this just like that. Even though we did not round our envelope, which you could have if you wanted to, you could have rounded it. I just kept it straight for the fact of I didn't think my corner rounder would cut fabric. Now I like inking, so I'm going to just run my ink sponge around the outside here, and I'm just going to do the same as well for the smaller piece. Now you don't have to put the smaller piece in if you don't want to. I just thought, well, we've got it, why waste it? So I'm going to put these 2 inside each other, and I'd like my small one to be on the outside. Maybe you'd like yours to be in between, maybe you want it to be on the end. Wherever you want it, it will be perfect. So let's just place it right inside, and you see it fits perfectly there. Now I'm going to bring in a little bit or a few of my paper clips, and I'm going to clip it. Now you probably can do this without the template. I had one here and I don't know what on earth happened to it, but this will work. We can use this as a template. I always like to use a template. That's just me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. I've measured from the bottom of the point where the 2 envelope tags are to the bottom of the envelope tags. This is approximately 1.5 inches wide. I'm folding it in half. I'm going to fold it in half again, and I'm going to fold it in half again. Now, this is such a short area. Some people say, oh, I'm just fine, I'll just wing it. And if you can wing it, that's great. I can't wing it. If I did that and it was off, it would just bug me something fierce. So I just prefer to do it this way. But if you can wing it, then I say you just go for it. Go right ahead and wing it. Okay, It's such a short little space. I've got my awl, aka pokey tool. I am going to hold it up like this and place my awl, and I'm going to place my point of my awl where my mark is, where my folds intersected each other. So push it all the way through. Now it might be a little hard because we have glued that fabric and we have glued the paper. So it might be, you might have to really push it. So we've got those in there. I've removed my little template. I've got my waxed thread here. And I have my, oh, that's a big needle. I don't need that big a needle. This needle will be just fine. And I think that other needle might have been an embroidery needle. Now, what I like to do is I like to say 1, 2, 3. This always gives me more than I need, but I always would rather have more of my thread when sewing in my signature than running out. I just like to start in the middle. I play from the inside. I put my needle through. I pull it. I'm leaving myself a little bit. I'm putting my hole. I'm looking for my other hole. It's right here. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Come on through now. Whoa. That one's really tight because of the glue. My needle's a little sticky too. Okay. And then through this one. Now back through the center. And you want to make sure that your thread is going to be on the opposite side of where it was. So your thread is on either side of your center thread. This is where I like to go ahead and cut my needle free, and I always like to check back side to make sure this is all straight and taut. Yes, and then we're just going to tie it right here like this. Give it a nice tie, and then I like to trim mine off. I'm going to trim mine off for this project short. I'm not putting any tassel or anything on it like that. And so then what you have when you take your paper clips all off is you have a super cute tag that's covered in fabric, and you have some nice journaling papers inside, and you have 4 different pockets. So let me show you ones that I have made. I made this one, and I just put a colored paper clip to hold it closed. I put these little tags in here just like that, and then you open it up and I put some more tags. Now you could do some more decorating. Maybe you wanted to add something else on here, but this is the Sari silk from Crimson Heart Studio in a beautiful tealy color. And here's a cute little pink one. Now this one I used lace, as you can see. So I used lace for my pockets, and I think that one turned out really sweet. Now this is the one that I used a digital inside versus using the coffee dyed paper. So that is a personal preference. I just did a couple different ones just so you can see the difference between them. But you guys, I absolutely love this project. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.